Good day, folks. This is Mark Anthony Williams with So You Want to Be a Safety Professional. And guess what? This is season 2. We've got an exciting season planned for everybody, and we've got really good guests this time. Our first episode here, our guest is Todd Prather. He is someone with a very interesting background, I would say. He's an EHS professional with over 15 years experience. And during his tenure working as an EHS professional, he discovered one of those little secrets that can really help us to mitigate injuries, and it's called active release techniques. So while working as an EHS professional, he discovered ART, and he became somewhat of an ART ambassador almost after seeing firsthand and witnessing the results of ART for his workforce and how it helped him reduce injuries. So that being said, today's episode is called Somatic Safety, Integrating Active Release Techniques into Ergonomic Factors. So let's get into it. Hey, Todd, how are you doing today?
Great, Mark. How are you doing today?
I can't complain. Is there anything else you think we need to let everybody know about you?
No, man, I've enjoyed being an EHS professional for a long time. I love helping people, and I'll tell you, when you come across a program like this, like ART, it's a game changer. So I love sharing it. I love introducing it to people. So I'm ready, man.
Okay, all right. So my first question is, can you provide case studies or real-world examples where ART active release techniques improve ergonomic outcomes in a workplace setting? I'm a data guy, and I love examples, right? So what can you share with us to show that, hey, the proof is in the pudding here?
Yeah, for sure. Well, there's two things going on in that question. You got ergonomics and you got active release. Ergonomics is obviously the study of the work. So we know that there's potential risk for, employees in the workplace. And what ART does is they come in and we start solving some of these soft tissue pains. So at my facility in 2015, I found ART and I implemented it. And the real case studies that I can provide here is the fact that we had, and I'm not going to go into details about the facility, but we had dozens of people every year that were feeling enough, I'll call it discomfort, just pain, soft tissue discomfort, that they would end up needing treatment beyond first aid. And we had recordables. Okay. So we would average 8 to 10 recordables every single year because aging workforce, just normal use, body use, through the ergonomics, right?
Right.
And after implementing ART, we have had 0 recordables that are soft tissue related since 2015. Because ART is that intervention step between when someone starts to feel it or they maybe are working and it prevents them from needing treatment beyond that. So it goes hand in hand with the ergonomics program perfectly.
And I think if you have a workforce that's doing a lot of manual labor, and you have a lot of people that are not work hardened, maybe your attrition rate is really high, you have a lot of high turnover, as people come in and matriculate in, those first 90 days to 6 months, they're still being work hardened, they're still getting used to maybe the physical demands of the job, right? And this is particularly prevalent in the food industry, in some manufacturing, assembling, anything where you have people having to put things together or move things or mix things, etc. themselves, right? A lot of that physical labor does lead to a lot of ergonomic factors and risks, right? So you're very well right. It's a buffer. It's definitely a buffer, isn't it?
It definitely is. And honestly, when you bring new team members on site, you don't know their background. I mean, they might have an athletic background, they might have a military background, they might have something going on that's an underlying soft tissue condition just waiting to pop up. And ART is the means in which they can get relief. They can actually resolve what they almost didn't even know was happening. And instead of the mentality of, well, pain is normal, I'm working hard, I'm getting older. Instead of that mentality, it can be the mentality of pain is not normal. Let's correct the issue and solve the problem.
That's a good point. So just from your experiences, how do active release techniques contribute to the prevention of musculoskeletal disorders that we commonly observe?
Yeah.
Like what is the magic behind this?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. ART has, and I've learned a lot about them. They have a patented, they call it a diagnostic algorithm. And
Mm-hmm.
so this is a non-invasive treatment. So when somebody, wants to seek, ART treatment, there's three things that happen. Number one is diagnose. Let's get hands-on, non-invasive, and let's feel and try to identify what's going on. And I think I even have it pulled up right here. They
Mm,
utilize a hands-on to identify aberrations in tissue texture, tension, movement, to determine the root cause of the condition, and that's really how they diagnose.
mm,
And then that treatment is
mm-hmm.
they start targeting, and they use these protocols I was mentioning, to combine that precise touch to find, where is that, I call it like the sticking point. And
Okay.
what I have found is they get hands on to find those sticking points to really just restore the movement of the remove this restore the movement of the muscle, and so people can start to get range of motion back and less inflammation in that muscle, and so pain relief. And so yes, I've
Okay.
seen it hundreds of times.
What kind of technology are they using for the diagnostics? I'm just curious. Because this sounds
So
really sophisticated.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, you have to go back to the 80s. The founder of ART, he created this, and you should go to the activerelease.com website and look
Mm,
this up, because this was founded back in the 80s with professional athletes,
okay.
and in the early 2000s, we kind of the ART rolled into the industrial athlete world.
I see.
And so this is a patented diagnostic algorithm
Mm-hmm.
that Dr. Leahy created. And so this is a hands-on. So there's certification that these ART providers have to go through in order to perform this.
Yeah.
And when they get the certifications, Mark, they get all that. They go in and they've been trained to feel your muscles and
Mm-hmm.
tendons and get into there and release that. And so it's nothing that just normal, you and I can
Okay. So
do.
it
You
is a,
have
like
to
a
have,
long, extensive process, it sounds like.
yeah, it takes some seminar. You have to go through some seminars and certifications to get it. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Any prerequisites for somebody
The
who
only
wants to be?
Yeah, the only prerequisite is you have to be a medically licensed professional. That's it. So it's
Yeah.
typically chiropractors, physical therapists, athletic
Mm-hmm.
trainers, massage therapists. If you are medically licensed in those fields, you can
Yeah.
go to some certification
Okay.
classes.
So that means that anyone who is treating you is really a medically licensed professional to
Oh
begin
yes.
with. Just offer
Oh
it.
yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Huh. So me
Yeah.
and you, we've both seen some of the benefits of ART and how companies implement them. But what roles do employers and employees play in successfully implementing ART for ergonomic well-being? Like, what do you think is a best practice? How do you think it usually works to bring it into a facility?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think the best thing that I have found is utilize the professionals at ART. So once somebody can identify the need,
Mm-hmm.
ART has a group of account managers and professionals that are willing to come on site.
Okay.
And what they do is they do onboarding meetings, and they share what ART is and why it exists. And they even bring an elite provider with them to showcase it in person.
Yeah.
And so the best practice I would recommend is get in touch with the company and allow them an opportunity to come on site, give a presentation, bring a provider, and they utilize a system to generate interest. So once they are there sharing information, it
Mm-hmm.
typically gets a lot of employees interested,
Okay.
because like I said earlier, people deal with pain. And so in the
Yeah.
room, when I implemented it in my facility, in the room, everyone's like, I'm interested. this sounds this sounds good. I've been dealing with this shoulder for years. I've been popping ibuprofen for the last whatever.
Right.
And so do those educational meetings so that people can understand why it exists. That way you have a successful onboarding and people take full advantage of it.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
And well, all of this, as good as it sounds, obviously it's not free, right? Nothing great in life is just 0.99.
Right.
And I think that most key key players at a facility or for a company, their their first thing is the bottom line, and they're thinking, okay, how much is this going to cost us, and what is the return on that investment? So, what are the financial implications for incorporating ART into ergonomic factory practices into a facility?
Yeah, sure. So we have to look at one thing. I like to think about one thing beforehand, and that is, how much are we spending on work comp costs right now?
Right.
And when we had all of our soft tissue cases, I didn't realize how much money we were truly spending.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's an unbudgeted amount that
Correct.
companies have. And so there's millions of dollars being spent on work comp claims that ART can help prevent and not even have happen. So I think the average in 2020 was like close to 40,000 per case.
Oh.
So when you think about some of the statistics, National Safety Council has these statistics, OSHA, you look, that's pretty expensive. And ART, they charge an hourly fee to bring a provider on site, and they treat 4 people every hour. So these are 15-minute sessions.
Okay.
And so I think the current rack rate for ART for an hour is like $3.95.
Oh, so that's not bad at all. $3.95 for employees in an hour. So really, if you break that down, that that's like maybe $50, a little bit under $50 an employee.
Yeah, even if it's $100 an employee, I'm thinking to myself, is that worth 40,000?
Correct. And that's just the direct cost you're talking about. You're not even talking about the indirect cost, right? What about the effect on the length of that workers' comp case, right? If someone were to get injured, instead of it being 2 years long, they may be back in 18 or 12 months, right? That case is now shortened. The effect on the EMR and all that kind of stuff. They're return to work sooner. So you have a good point. I think that's worth $50 in my book. Really, is worth priceless. It's priceless, right? Plus, it tells your employees that you care, like you actually genuinely care to put your money where your mouth is, to get them back to work, and even more so to prevent them from exacerbating a potential condition where they have to take time off in the first place.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, your points are right on. I mean, that's huge points. And I'll say this, kind of just to kind of sum that up. Like I would say it's not typical that just one treatment fixes somebody, right? Because there could be some stuff that's been built up in there for a while.
Right.
So the statistics with ART, because I was pretty skeptical when I first found this and I started talking about this, I was like, there's no way you can fix somebody that's had something going on for 20, 30 years.
Right. That's a lot. Yeah.
And the statistics are pretty shocking. After doing this for the last 9 years and seeing this at our facility and all 30 facilities that we have scaled it to, the rate is 3.5 visits. So they come on site every week until somebody's resolved. And they do those 4 treatments. So 3 to 4 treatment sessions, there is a 89% resolution, like a 90% resolution of your issue within 3 to 4 visits. It could be 1, it could be 3, it could be 6, but the average is between 3 and 4 visits. You get your issue resolved. So let's think that's $50 to $100 per visit. So you've got $300 or $400 invested in resolving someone's soft tissue issue, rather than a $40,000 claim and lost work and disengagement and morale. So all the things that you said. So that's what I've seen.
You got to take my money.
It's just the reality of it.
It makes a lot of sense. Jeez.
That's why I'm an ambassador for them. This is why I can genuinely promote what this is, because it works.
That makes a lot of sense, Todd. Jeez. Yeah. If someone were interested in having ART representative come to their facility, what would be the first steps you would have them take?
Yeah, I think that I would go online. I would go to the activerelease.com, and there's a place where you can click, tell me more, get me more information. There's even a great place to look at a map, and you can see where the providers are, because there's thousands of ART providers across the nation, and hundreds of what we call elite providers. So as an ambassador for them, I'm very familiar with a lot of their elite providers and where they are, and they're everywhere.
So just from jump, I can go online and say, okay, my facility is in I don't know, Tucker,
Yeah.
Roswell, Chambly, whatever have it be, and
Yeah.
I could see who the closest one is logistically. Yep. And from day one, I know, hey, this could work. This guy could be here in 20 minutes if we arrange this. That's pretty practical.
Yeah. Yep. And so on the website, yeah, you can get in touch with them. They're on social media. They're all over all the socials, so you can see hands-on where they do seminars. But I would connect with them. Make a phone call to the headquarters in Colorado Springs. Whatever is the best means of communication. I think that it would be good to connect and let them have a representative reach out to you and learn more. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no, it's just curiosity, right? There's no harm in asking a question. Even if it's not right for you right now, it might be something you want to think about and bookmark for the future, for your safety program, for your employees. So it's definitely a really good feasible option, I think, for every safety professional. Okay. Well, that's really all the questions I had. Is there any advice you would give to safety professionals out there that maybe are tackling a lot of ergonomic issues?
Yeah, I would say stay vigilant with doing ergonomic evaluations of your roles. So ART is an amazing tool in the belt, but we always want to make sure that our teams are, doing their work as ergonomically friendly as possible. So do some quantitative and qualitative analysis of the jobs. But I think the best thing people can do is think early intervention, wellness. Like this is ART on-site wellness. And when you do that, the culture of your facility will shift, and it'll go away from reacting to having injuries and incidents to a culture where pain is not normal and ergonomic workspaces is the way that we do business. Yeah, so that's my advice.
Awesomeness. Okay, folks, so that brings us to the end of our interview today. I hope you all enjoyed. We'll have another one for you in 2 weeks. As always, stay well and stay safe.